Podcast Answer Man, episode number 182.
Entertaining, educational, and encouraging content that makes a difference. This is GSPN.TV. Join the community.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Podcast Answer Man. My name is Cliff Ravenscraft, and this week I have an episode that is probably unlike any other. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to share with you an interview that I did with somebody I would consider to be a good friend these days. His name is Jason Van Orden. And I'm also going to share some other interesting things that have come my way this week and let you know some other things that are going on as far as that I'm offering in my business. So here's the deal. You know, hopefully next week I will plan to get back into the normal questions and answers. And do me a favor, please do give me a call at 859-795-4067 with your questions about podcasting. And I'll make it a point to make sure that next week we get Q&A back into the format here. Although I think I had some last week. Anyway, here's the deal. The first thing I'm going to do is I want to tell you about something interesting that came in. I got an email the other day, an email from Connie and Sheila. Now, you guys hear me talk about ConnieandSheilaTalk.com all the time, and it's because I do love their podcast. And they never cease to amaze me with all the creative ways that they promote their show. Well, I get this email. It says, "Hey, everybody," or it actually says, "Hey, everyone. This week on Connie and Sheila Talk, our special guest is Mr. Zach Jones, Senior Mortgage Officer with Regions Bank. Our conversation with Zach revolves around the real estate market, interest rates, and current mortgage programs. Whether you're thinking about buying a home, already own a home, or buy-sell homes, we think you will find this show very informative. Look for episode 29 on Wednesday, October 20th for free on iTunes or at our website at ConnieandSheilaTalk.com. Have a great day, Connie and Sheila." Or actually, it says Sheila and Connie. And then there is an attachment that is actually a PDF document. And folks, I am going to put a link to this in episode 182 of podcastanswerman.com. Just go look at the show notes. And what you will see is a PDF document that they actually sent out with that just promotes this. It's almost like, you know, you would go and there's going to be this huge concert or this big huge speaking gig, and you'd see these flyers pasted and posted all over the walls everywhere you go. And I'm telling you, this is brilliant. It's brilliant. I absolutely love it. I talk to people all the time. They say, you know, how often should I release my shows? And I suggest, you know, that really depends on what you want to do. I think weekly is nice, but I think probably more important than anything is that you communicate to your audience when to expect your shows. And I love that Connie and Sheila say, "Hey, every Wednesday you come to our site, there'll be a new episode. Every Wednesday you go into iTunes, there'll be a new episode. Every Wednesday. Now, I happen to know because I went to dinner with Connie and Sheila when I was down in Nashville this past weekend. I happen to know that this podcast was already recorded well before Wednesday. And then on Monday or whatever day it was this week, they sent out an email with this flyer attached saying, "Hey guys, you don't want to miss the opportunity to catch the content that we're going to be putting on our podcast this Wednesday." You talk about building up the anticipation. Now, you might look at the flyer and you might read that email and you might say, "Well, okay, that doesn't interest me." But let me tell you, if you're subscribed to their podcast and you're a part of their niche audience, I guarantee you, this is something that's going to be of great interest. And this is a beautiful way of just using, you know, somebody's email to send out and say, "Hey, this week, this is something special." You know, I don't know that I would actually send out a flyer with an email every single week, But I mean, if you got creative and you had wonderful content that you didn't want people to miss, what this does is it says, you know what, you might be subscribed to my podcast, your iTunes might be downloading every single episode of our podcast, but we recognize that you might occasionally skip an episode here or there, and you might go a couple weeks and then just listen to the most recent one or two. Well, here's the deal. You don't want to miss this episode. Brilliant. Absolutely love it. Folks, head over to podcastanswerman.com, look for episode 182 show notes, and click the link for that attached flyer and see what they did. I'm not telling you need to do this. I'm just saying I was impressed. Not sure I'm even going to do it myself, but it sure does give me food for thought if I had some content that I really felt was important. Hey, do you want to know what one of the most common mistakes made by a new podcaster is? And actually, do you want to know what one of the most common mistakes made by people who have been podcasting for 6 to 18 months? Yes, it is the tagging of MP3 files. It blows my mind when I actually talk to somebody who's been podcasting for more than a year. Because they've been using some, relatively, free or super easy to post services. They just really didn't bother themselves with all the details. They just, do whatever it says to either dial up by phone or just to record something and upload it via this little web uploader. And they really don't understand the ins and outs of the process or workflow of the production process for podcasting. And it blows my mind when I meet somebody who's been podcasting for more than a year, and I ask them, I say, hey, is there any reason why you're not tagging your files? And they're like, what's that? I mean, you've been podcasting for a year, and nobody's ever told you that you have just the default ugly little music icon when somebody's listening to your show on their iPhone. And I would say probably if nobody's ever told you that your artwork isn't displaying on their device, chances are not many people are listening to your show. Because I know that if I skip it for any amount of time, now I can get by with one or two and maybe squeak it by. But if I have 2 episodes back to back, I usually get an email or two from people saying, hey, did you know your artwork's missing? Or heaven forbid, hey, did you notice that you put the Family from the Heart podcast artwork on the Biggest Loser podcast? Which I almost did today. Anyway, this whole idea of tagging, in fact, I got an email from a friend of mine and somebody who's hired me in the past to do some artwork for them. Now, this isn't somebody who's hired me for consulting, but somebody who hired me just for the purposes of creating artwork. And so they got that. They had some great artwork for their podcast, and I sent that along to them, just assuming, I guess, that they pretty much knew what to do with it from there, right? Well, here's the situation. I got an email that says, hey, Cliff, my artwork shows up when I do the search for my podcast in the iTunes store, but it does not show up in my library in iTunes. I changed a couple of things in my FeedBurner feed. However, I still haven't been able to get it to figure out to why it's not showing up when I download the file into my iTunes. Why isn't this artwork showing up? And by the way, I created a 4-minute video titled Tagging Your MP3 Files. Many new podcasters miss this step. And I encourage you to go check it out. And by the way, you can find that at podcastanswerman.com/tagging. That's TAGGING. Podcastanswerman.com/tagging. And for those of you who are on the Mac, I actually demonstrate to you how I use a program called ID3 Tag Editor. It's a $25 program for the Mac. And for those of you who are using a PC, a Windows-based system, I tell you just to head over to mp3tag.de. MP3 Tag is a program that is absolutely free. And again, video explaining how that process works can be found over at podcastanswerman.com/tagging. Now, I don't mean to belittle anybody who's been podcasting for quite some time and you don't know that, but it's something that I hope, if you didn't know that before, that this is going to be helpful to you now. So definitely want to make sure that you tag your files with ID3 tags filled out and completed before you upload your MP3 file, and you have to do that on every MP3 file you upload. So there you go. Alrighty. I'll tell you what, next up I have a 20-minute telephone or Skype interview that I did with Jason Van Orden. Now, and I'm actually going to bring to you afterwards an email that I got after sending out an email to the subscription, my email list, that wasn't too happy with my email that I sent. I'll go over that in just a minute. But before I do that, I just want to go ahead and play this interview. It's 20 minutes in length, and it's me and Jason Van Orden having a conversation about a product launch that he's getting ready to do here. And I'll share a little bit more about my thoughts on it right after this play. So here you go, Jason Van Orden and myself talking about his new product. All right, folks. Well, I have on the line with me today Jason Van Orden from Internet Business Mastery. Jason, how are you?
I'm doing great, Cliff. Always a pleasure to speak with you.
It's always a pleasure to talk with you as well. I tell you what, the world of podcasting and new media is active and alive, and I know that you always have some great insights to share with lots of folks, and you've got something going on. I think this is the second time around for a product that you're launching called the Traffic Attraction Formula. Did I get that right?
Correct. Yeah.
So tell me what this thing is and why people would be interested.
Sure thing. Traffic Attraction Formula in a nutshell is kind of the behind the scenes story of our show, which you mentioned, Internet Business Mastery. It's been a very successful online show, a podcast, and it also has gone out through many other media since 2005. And since we started that in 2005, it took off and just blossomed into a very successful six-figure business. And just by that one simple strategy of creating great content and syndicating it out across the web, we built up a nice brand and business for ourselves, even in a very crowded topic area, very crowded market. I mean, a lot of people online talking about how to make money. And we just decided to go online, two average guys, and share our experiences with making money online and with internet marketing, internet business. And it really resonated with an audience. And since then, like I said, we've turned that into a six-figure business through offering just premium products and membership sites and things to our audience who want to really dig in and learn more about it. So Traffic Attraction Formula is all about teaching others how they can do that same thing. How by just, without ever having to pay for a lead or without having to pay for a customer or a listener, create a great set of content, create a show or either through blogging or audio or video, attract that loyal audience around whatever topic or expertise or they might have in mind. I mean, I've known people to do it with things like knitting or with things like foreign languages, and then architecture. It doesn't have to be about necessarily this whole how to make money type thing. And how to start a show like that, build up a brand, build up a following, brand yourself as that go-to person in your market, opening up lots of opportunities to you, but also more importantly, creating a very viable business that can just bring in that regular income for you and your family. And it's just something that I've loved doing. This form of business online has been very fulfilling for me. And now I'm just excited to launch this flagship course that it's a coaching course, step by step, taking other people how to go through that process as well. And like you said, we've done it before. It first launched over the summer just to my own group of customers, but now we're taking it to the broader web. A lot of our partners asked us, hey, like friends and partners like yourself said, hey, we'd love to launch this to our own people. It looks like a great offering, great course. And so now we're opening up it again right now this fall, coming up soon.
Excellent. Now, for my listeners here, I want to let people know, if you haven't heard of Jason Van Orden, he's been around for a very long time. I've known Jason personally. I think you and I met it would have been October 2007 at PodCamp Boston 2.
That sounds about right.
And I remember the reason why I actually sought you out, and the reason why I sought you out is because when I entered the world of podcasting, I looked up podcast consultants. At that time, it was well before I met you. When I found out about you, I was at that time not even dreaming that I would be one day a podcast and consultant and coach. down the road. It was just something I loved podcasting, and I was looking for people who had advice. And your name pulled up at the top of the list when searching for consulting regarding to the area of podcasting and new media. And so you've been in this space for a very long time. You've spoke at the podcast new media expos and Blog World and all these other places. So people have looked up to you, and it's kind of funny because now I'm in that space, and I look on, look up podcast consulting, and I see myself at the top of this list now as well. But you're somebody who is, I would say, in the field of branding online, creating content online that drives traffic, that drives profits. You're several years ahead of me, and that's why I want to introduce you to my audience. You're somebody you're a couple steps ahead, and I don't feel embarrassed to say that. I look forward to following a lot of the things that you do, and sometimes I look forward to, maybe edging off on a side path and kind of paving my own way. But one of the things that I recognize, Jason, is that you're extremely successful. And that's what I want my audience to know. So you created this traffic attraction formula. Before we go just a little bit deeper into that, tell me about Internet Business Academy, something that you've been doing for quite some time.
Yeah, the Internet Business Mastery Academy is our primary profit. It's the thing that makes us money from our show. I spoke at, I'm forgetting which conference it was. It might have been, I think it was CES in Las Vegas a few years back. Podcasting was a brand new thing. And I was on a panel with like 5 different people, many names that I'm sure you know. I mean, great people started cool businesses. Some of those businesses are still around. Some of them are not. But it was a panel about how do we make money with podcasting? That's a question that a lot of people had. And so they went down the panel and asked everybody in the panel to give their answer. And pretty much the answer all the way along the line was advertising, sponsorships, advertising. Oh, and by the way, we have an advertising network where we'll help you get advertising. And then it came to me, and I'm like, okay, well, here's what I do. And you attract a very targeted following who is consuming, subscribing to your content, listening to it on the go, listening to it in their car while they walk the dog, while they work out, when it's just you and them and you in their headphones, and they're doing this on a regular basis. You've got a relationship and a trust with those people, where all you need to do is just ask them, what can I do to better offer value to you, to help you better reach the goals that you have? And in my case, that had to do with internet business, because those are the people that were listening to our show. They wanted to know how to start an internet business. And once we did that, we found, so I said, I find out what my audience wants, and I create some kind of product that offers that value, and then I sell it to them. And at that point, they're happy to buy because I've hit what they want dead on because I asked them, and I've built up a relationship over time with all this great free content, and they're more than happy to buy. And it was funny because I got some, real criticism the next day in the blogs about, well, what is he talking about, this making products? And I don't know, it sounds weird to me. And I don't know why that's weird to get a loyal audience, asking them what they want and deliver. I mean, that's just good business, I think. But the point I'm trying to make is that, I think at best, now I'm not saying advertising is worthless. I know some people make great money with advertising and sponsorships, and that's fine. But at best, mostly on average, you're going to make between $15 and $45 per 1,000 downloads, as CPM they call it. And I've calculated the numbers of offering a membership site and the products and the coaching courses and the types of things we've done with Internet Business Mastery, and on average, that brings us $816 per 1,000 downloads of our show that we get. So that means for everybody who downloads one of my MP3s, I make 81.6 cents. And that adds up pretty quickly when you've got a lot of downloads. So the Academy is just the primary vehicle for doing that, giving people a membership site that they can join that brings that regular cash every month. And that's one of the things I also talk about in this course, Traffic Attraction Formula. It's about designing the show, getting it up, syndicating it across the net, building up your brand, building up your following, getting an email list and a subscriber base of loyal listeners who have that trust. And then you can ask them what they want and make a product around that, sell it to them, and turn it into a profit center for you as well.
Right. Now, next week, I am doing a passive income strategy for podcasters webinar for 2 hours with a good friend of mine, Pat Flynn. I think you may know Pat as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
Pat is actually one of our early students inside the Internet Business Mastery Academy.
Exactly.
Phenomenal guy.
He's absolutely phenomenal guy, and so I knew that he was a part of the Internet Business Mastery Academy. He and I are very close personal friends now, basically, by the way, thank you to you for referring him to me. it's
Absolutely. I like connecting people that I know, or it's like, look, cool guy over here, cool guy over here. You guys should know each other. That's always fun to do.
Exactly. Well, he's been very successful, obviously learned a lot of valuable things in your academy. And he and I are working together to share both of our experiences and sharing 2 hours worth of very valuable information to folks next week. But what you're offering here is a step-by-step coaching program, the Traffic Attraction Formula, that's going to cover the course of several weeks. Is that right? How many weeks is it?
It's going to span 6 to 8 weeks. There's 6 modules, and probably about weekly we'll release those modules. That all kind of, because it's a coaching course, you'll be in there with a whole bunch of people just like you, kind of marching in step. You have extra access to me, but it's going to be between 6 and 8 weeks, and that's getting those Q&A calls where you get on the line with me and you can ask the questions that come up along the way and get my direct help. And each module is released one at a time. So it's a lot of people like to have that experience where they get to network with other people going through the course together online, and then also get the extra access to me.
Excellent. And so basically you have some informational videos that you're going to be trickling out. I think the first one came out earlier this week. And tell me a little bit about these videos that people can go and watch for free, which, by the way, they're awesome.
Well, thank you. Yeah, these videos they basically walk through, well, what is this process of the traffic attraction formula? What does that mean? And it's a series. It starts out with the alternate universe of internet marketing. I know a lot of people, when they go online and they're trying to market their business or start a podcast or promote their podcast, or and they're trying to figure out, well, how do I market this thing? It can be very overwhelming because every day it seems like somebody's talking about the next thing of like, oh, this will get, you got to do this super secret thing with Facebook. Oh no, now you got to do this super secret thing with Twitter. And there's a lot of great ways to attract traffic online, but it all starts with having great content that you syndicate through all the different channels. You get it into iTunes, you get it into YouTube, have a very streamlined process for, posting one episode that goes out across as many channels as possible. And these videos kind of walk through, well, what is that process? And the second video is the myth of the big list, about how you don't have to have, people think you have to have a subscriber base of, maybe they look at Leo Laporte and they're like, well, yeah, of course, he's got millions of people listening to his show. No wonder he makes money. Or they look at Rocket Boom or something like that. Or they look at people who have email lists of 70,000 or 100,000 people. And I tell a story of how we were able to sell as much stuff as the 170,000 email list person with a list that was 10 times smaller than that, just because of the immense and valuable relationship that we built up with them through our content, which is something that you do fabulously with GSPN as well, is always building that community, always building that relationship. And then the third video is called the Mini Oprah Effect, and it gives some specific steps of how do you make yourself a person of influence. And that just means, building that trust I was talking about, getting the attention of your ideal audience, getting them to follow your show, and then building up that relationship and trust. And when you do that, that's the kind of thing that not only can you be incredibly fulfilled yourself, you can make an awesome impact in the world, and then also make a good living for yourself as well. So this video series just walks through and gives solid, actionable steps of building up that kind of a phenomenon for yourself, even if you're starting from scratch. Whether you already have a show you've been doing for a while and you're trying to figure out how to make more money, or you're just starting out, there's going to be some ideas for you in these videos.
Excellent. And those videos, by the way, are absolutely free, whether you sign up for the Traffic Attraction Formula or not. They're absolutely free. They're available to the public. They're going to be available only for a limited time, though. Is that right?
Yeah, they're just up for a limited time. It's kind of a special series thing, and they're out there freely to give some people insights into these kinds of things that I teach. And then, of course, at the end, it gives details if you want to know more about the course. But like I said, lots of great details, just for free, even to put into action right now. But yeah, they're only going to be up for the next couple of weeks, so you want to get in there and check them out right away.
All right, and here's the place where I give full disclosure, and my audience knows me. I'm oftentimes aligning myself with other people who have businesses that have wonderful products or services that I personally believe in, where I believe in the person behind it and actual the message itself. And this is one of those places where if you go through the link that I provide and you decide to sign up for this course, I get a commission. All right. So, and it's significant. So I just want to let people know that if you decide that you want to check this stuff out, I ask that you use my link, podcastanswerman.com/TAF. That stands for Traffic Attraction Formula. So again, just go to podcastanswerman.com/TAF. That will forward you to those videos that we're talking about. And let me say this, folks, at the end of this process, after all the videos, Jason is going to do his best to convert you into trying to sign up for his course. That's what he's in business for. So don't get upset. It's like, oh, Cliff, you just sent me to this place where they're just trying to sell me something. You're right. He is going to try to sell you something. And I tell you, I would not have Jason on the show here if I did not believe it was worth every penny. But,
and I believe as you do that it's all about value exchange, right? I mean, I love it when people sign up for my coaching course, because then we get to work together and I get to help you. And of course I make money, but it also allows me to do the thing I love most. And that is to share resources with people that help them to experience a higher level of freedom and fulfillment and happiness and success in their own lives. But I know that I can't sell my product unless I prove myself and gain your trust first and give you value first. And I'm all about that value exchange, which is why I have packed all those videos with free value up front. I don't want you making any kind of decision unless you know me and have a flavor for what it is that I'm all about, which is the magic and the power, I think, of these media that we use, podcasting and videos and online new media, is that value exchange and relationship that does get to happen in advance. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there.
That's exactly it. I mean, you're pretty much living out in these first few videos talking about the alternate universe of internet marketing and the myth of the big list and the mini Oprah effect. I want to tell you, I did not sign up for your class 6 months ago, but I watched all 3 of those videos, and a lot of the stuff I knew because I've been listening to Internet Business Mastery. I've been living a lot of it out on my own, but I'll tell you, there was a lot of significant new bits of information, at least the way that you communicated them, that made a couple things click for me. And I just want to tell people, say, listen, whether or not you're interested in signing up for a 6 to 8 week course that's going to coach you step by step, and you can go through this with a group of other people who are like-minded like you, looking to make this a successful marketing campaign for your own products and services, creating that business that you've always dreamed of creating. Whether or not you plan on signing up, go watch the videos. I'm not kidding. And are you going to have them available where people can actually download them from the site?
Yes.
This is another thing. I have all 3 videos, even though I knew they were going to come down. But I took all 3 of those videos and I downloaded them. So folks, go to podcastanswerman.com/TAF. And each week, as they get released here over the next couple of weeks, go and make sure that you download those videos and just rewatch them over and over and over again. And I want to say, Jason, I do hope that, I know a lot of my listeners, some of them know you. I know every single one of them know me extremely well. And I hope that my word that says Jason is the real deal is enough along with your videos, to convince you that if they're really find these videos compelling and appealing, that they will go ahead and sign up for your 6 to 8 week course. I think it's absolutely worth it. And, I just know you, and I know the people you've referred to me. I mean, I can name 10 people off the top of my head right now that you've referred to me as clients over the last 12 months that have, bottom line, added thousands of dollars to my income. And
that's awesome. I'm thrilled to hear that.
So, and I appreciate that. And the fact is these are people who have learned from you, have been inspired by you, and said, you know what? Wow, this is great stuff. I want to take a couple things to the next level, and they've come to me for equipment or maybe just a little piece here or there. And so I know that these people are not just signing up for your course and doing nothing with it. They're actually taking action. So anything else you want to say about the traffic attraction formula? I mean, anything else that people ought to know?
No, I mean, just I guess the biggest thing I'd say is whether you have started a podcast or a show yet, or whether you're just thinking about it, I would just encourage anybody listening not to undervalue what it is that you have and that you know. And I think the biggest thing that holds people back is they may not believe that there are people out there who are willing to listen to what they have to say or that can benefit from it. And this world and society we live in, I think, trains us so much to believe that things should be hard. It should be work if we're going to be able to make money at it. But and so we often discount those things that we enjoy or that come to us easily. And so just because it's easy to you and doesn't seem to be valuable to you doesn't mean there's not other people out there who are wanting to learn, whether it's knitting, whether it's scuba, whether it's how to podcast, whether it's how to start an online business, whether it's a language or whatever the case may be. And so, if you're just willing to put yourself out there and give it a try, phenomenal things can happen. And if my free videos can help you do that, then that I would be thrilled to hear about that. So just don't underestimate it, and definitely give it a try. It's changed my life. It's changed Cliff's life, and many of the people we've had the privilege of working with over the years.
Absolutely, Jason. Thank you so much, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you, Cliff.
All right, folks, there you go. That was my interview with Jason Van Orden. And of course, I sent out an email. I decided I was only going to send out one email to my mailing list to promote Jason's product here. And of course, having him here on podcastanswerman.com as well would be great promotion. As I said, I do stand to profit if anybody does end up buying his program and going through the whole process. I think it is 6. I think they do 6 modules, so it's a big thing. Actually, I will tell you, I have full access to everything that was produced during the last session. He told you before that it was earlier this year. He released this entire product just to his own community, his own audience for his podcast and his business. And I know people who went through that rave about what they saw there, and I actually have access to all of that material. Looked it over, and it's good, solid stuff. There's a lot of things in there that I teach my clients on a daily basis, or not a daily, but a weekly basis. And every Tuesday and Thursday, a lot of that stuff is in there. Is about setting up your websites and talking about the podcasting end of things. But he's also got so much in there that I've never got to the point where I've shared this materials yet. Not that I don't know all of. I mean, well, there's quite a bit in there that I still don't know myself, and I have a bit to learn. But the thing is never have I been comfortable enough to say, hey, here are some proven methods to do this and to do that and to do this. And I've perused it. It's valuable stuff. But again, even if you don't sign up for his program, which, obviously you'll get emails, and the videos will be tempting you to sign up for their program. The videos that are there, the ones that are free, the ones that market this thing, I tell you, I downloaded those videos. There is value in those. I'm telling you, matter of fact, the marketing videos for this are worth money. So basically, I sent out an email to my mailing list, and I said to people, say, listen, I want you to check out what Jason's doing. And I said, just a warning, it's going to cost you your email address. He's going to want you to sign up for his mailing list and to be able to access the videos. And by the way, you can get them at podcastanswerman.com/TAF for Traffic Attraction Formula. And so I sent that out, and I warned people, and it was the only email that I planned on sending out. And I got this email from one of my listeners. Now, I did notice that sometimes you send out an email out on your mailing list, and you maybe get 1 or 2 people unsubscribe for your thing and from your mailing list, and that's cool, and that just happens. Some people just don't like to get a lot of emails. So this time around, I had 4 people immediately unsubscribed from my list as soon as I sent this out, and one of them wrote me this email. Now, I won't say who wrote it to me, but here's what it says. It says, Cliff, you said that you wouldn't use this email to spam us, but to let us know about Podcast Answer Man related stuff. While this isn't spam per se, it might as well be, because if I give up my email address, I will undoubtedly get opt-in spam from Jason. I know because I've been down this road with his promises before. It is probably some $1,000 program that if you follow step by step, you may make money. Let's see, you may make what he does. Let's see here. You may make what he does, but results are not guaranteed. As an added bonus, the free videos are followed by letters just like this one to entice me to buy into someone else's $1,000 must-have marketing plan that he personally endorses. So here's the deal. By the way, he says, needless to say, I'm disappointed to get this type of message from you. I clicked through and saw the site, and I hope the affiliate click through was worth losing a subscriber to your mailing list. So that was the email I got from one of my listeners. And by the way, the email is not without pain, because this is somebody I know very well. I know personally. And yes, it absolutely hurts to lose this person from my mailing list. Needless to say, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I wrong for doing this? And I thought about it, and it's like, no, I am not wrong for doing this. Is this related to Podcast Answer Man stuff? It certainly is, because Jason is actually at a stage in his business well beyond mine. He is. And the money that he's making, and he talks about making, he is making that money. The things that I see in his 6-course program, courses 1 through 3, or modules 1 through 3, are things that I'm training and teaching people every single day. And folks, there are people who have spent as much as $2,400 for me to teach them one-on-one, as much as $2,400 in all my consulting, over $150 an hour, and hours and hours and hours of me teaching. There are people who have spent $2,400 for me to teach them one-on-one the things that you will learn in modules 1 through 3 of his program. And I am telling you, modules 4, 5, and 6 contain information that I have yet to actually teach somebody one-on-one, and I'm looking forward to learning myself. So, yes, I will tell you, the program that ends at that they try to sell at the end of this, that Jason's going to try to sell, it's in excess of $1,000. I will tell you that. I mean, I'm not hiding anything. The thing is the videos that try to promote this, I am telling you, and I mean this with all of my heart, the videos contain information that themselves alone are worth giving your email to Jason and then opting out, unsubscribing from his email after, you get all, I think there's 4 videos, or at least 3, if not 4. I know you're going to get the alternate universe of marketing. I know you will get the mini Oprah effect. And there's one other video. I mean, these videos, they are chock full of information that is so valuable that I believe that my audience should listen to. And you're going to get some emails. You're going to get some emails from Jason. And if you absolutely know ahead of time that you're definitely not interested in that, the videos are free. And it's simple as soon as you get access to the final video, right before it comes down to crunch time, and they're ready to launch. They're ready to launch, and they're giving you the date, of the limited time window for you to sign up. Then it's nothing. I mean, it takes nothing to click unsubscribe on the email that comes in right after that one. Just at the very bottom, it's one click unsubscribe. That's all it's going to take. So I don't feel bad about sending out that email. I like Jason. I've known Jason for years, and I know the things that he says, that he teaches, is great. And as I said in my interview, he has sent me a lot of clients. Many of you listening to this podcast, you were referred to me by Jason. And I thank Jason for all that business. And I'll tell you, the people that I've ever had refer to me that say, hey, Jason Van Orden, and the folks over at the Internet Business Mastery, I'm a part of their academy. These people all speak extremely highly of Jason. And I've just come to develop a great sense of trust of what he's offering there. And again, I want you to know before I send that out, hey, I have full access. I know what's in the program. Okay. So just want to say that. And by the way, Hand G Podcast on Twitter says the guys at Internet Business Mastery rock, and it retweets my Twitter message that says serious about marketing your business online. Check this out. And so Hand G Podcast, thank you very much for retweeting. So obviously they were not turned off by the fact that I'm promoting this. And then Podcast Lawyer, which is my good friend Gordon Firemark, he says, at GSPN, I watched Jason Van Orden's video on your recommendation. Good stuff. Got me excited for the next one. I almost can't wait for the sales pitch. So there you go. I mean, yeah. If you feel like I've violated your trust by sending you something that's not related directly to something I'm trying to sell, then I really apologize for that. And to you who sent me that email, yeah, it hurt. It did. I'm hurt that I had that I had disappointed you, and I'm a people pleaser, so I'm really sorry about that. But if I had to do it over again, would I send the email? I would. And will I be sending more emails out to my mailing list about Jason's product over the next 6 weeks or however long he's going to be promoting this thing? No, I will not. I had in my mind, I was going to send out one email, and if, Jason can sell you on it, then fine. If he can't, then fine. Let's see how it works. The thing is I have a little bit more tie to Jason, and so I hope that you would understand that my comfort level in doing that should communicate something to you. Hey, speaking of emails, I have another email that came in from one of my clients, and he writes me this. He says, "Hey, Cliff, I recently was listening to an episode of a podcast that was actually the podcast that got me interested in podcasting. During the episode, the host," and he gave his name, which I'm removing here, "was trying out his brand new Snowball microphone. First mistake," he writes in parentheses. "Then spoke about how all they need is an old pair of nylons for a," and then he writes in pop filter, although he wasn't sure what to call it. They continued from there, but between this episode of theirs and a previous one, I now find myself yelling into the speakers what they should be doing, all based upon what I learned from you." And he says, Obi-Wan Ravenscraft. The show and episode, if you're curious for yourself, is, and of course I removed that part of the email for the show notes. And I just don't want to point anybody out and where they're falling short, if you can call it that. Anyway, it says, "I am not sure whether to thank you or be upset. After all, I am now so critical of what I used to think was good. Seriously though, Cliff, a big thank you!" Exclamation point. So first and foremost, thank you for your feedback. I am so sorry that I've given you a more discerning ear. Although I'm very thankful that you have a more discerning ear and that you understand that there is value in high quality. And you know what? The audio quality of these folks that you sent me the link to, you know what? There was a time when I sounded like that as well. And I remember being very excited with my condenser microphone, my MXL 990. Oh boy, those were the days. Anyway, we all have to grow from somewhere, and hopefully, if these folks have content that you like very much, perhaps you can lovingly develop a relationship with these folks and give them some advice along the way, and not just say, "Hey, you're horrible," and blah, 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 blah. And of course, I know this client, he would never do that. So anyway, thanks for your email. I guess my listeners are spoiled now. Hey, I was interviewed this past week by Dean Soto of the So Totally Business Savvy podcast. And Dean is a client of mine who has made a decent investment in audio equipment for his podcast, and he's taken that investment and made something of it. Today, his podcast is currently generating opportunities and profits for his business that would have never existed otherwise. And I was honored to be invited as a guest for episode number 14 of his podcast. And if you go to podcastanswerman.com, look for the show notes in episode 182, you'll see a link to where you can hear my interview with Dean. And by the way, if you go and check that out, I've been told that people who kind of click on all of these interviews that I do with various other people, they're saying that, it's kind of neat because depending on the interviewer, they ask different questions that kind of pull out different unique parts of my story. And so if you're interested in that, go check it out. The link's in the site. And by the way, Dean, thank you very much for inviting me onto your show. And oh, by the way, he's also I went ahead and turned around and invited him on to my podcast. You can check it out over at virtualassistantpodcast.com, episode 28, where I interview him. And I was very interested to learn that he has 5 virtual assistants that he employs. So definitely check that out if you're interested over at virtualassistantpodcast.com, episode 28. All right. Speaking of products that I personally sell, I just want to say that time is running out for the Passive Income Strategy for Podcasters webinar. That's right. It is this Saturday, October 23rd. And you can go to, I think it is, just go to podcastanswerman.com, podcastanswerman.com, and it's the banners over on the right-hand side if you get this in time. So you can register there. By the way, only 3 seats remain, and I already know of 2 people who are on the fence of whether or not they're going to be able to make it. So if you're listening to this, and if you go to podcastanswerman.com and the banner is still there, then there is at least 1 seat available. As soon as those 3 seats sell out, I will be removing that banner from the right-hand side of my podcastanswerman.com site. So anyway, very excited. Just saw the handout, the first draft or the rough draft of the handout with the outline of all the things we talked about. You're going to get a handout, PDF handout of action steps. Pat is going to do a phenomenal job in this strategy for podcasters. And guess what? It is not a multi-thousand. It's not in excess of 1,000. It is a very affordable webinar. And I'm telling you, if you got the opportunity, sign up. Seriously. If you want to sign up and you can't make it, go ahead and sign up. You'll take up the seat. That's fine. But go ahead and sign up, and you will get the video recording of that within 1 week of when we do the webinar. So within the next week, you'll get the video. Now, how soon before that's actually made available on my website, I'm not sure yet. I don't have that planned out yet. I still need to work out with Pat what we're going to do on the arrangement of profits on this webinar after the fact. So that's going to take some negotiation. But I do know, just so you know, I'm very fair with the way I do things. I am splitting revenue 50-50 with Pat Flynn. So he stands to make some good money. I stand to make some good money. And you guys stand to learn some very valuable information about passive income strategy for podcasters. Then also, another thing that I decided to do here is I'm going to give something a try. You guys know that I've been doing webinars for a very long time. I did a webinar a couple years ago called Podcasting 101. And in that webinar, I charged $75. And I remember everybody telling me, Cliff, that is way too low. Everybody who took that webinar said I did not charge enough. And I took that to heart. And so ever since then, my webinars have always been somewhere between $100 to $200 a piece. And every single time I've done a webinar, they've sold out. So things have been going pretty well with that. I've been told, though, that some of these webinars that I do, if I was to do them at a lower price and have more people, then perhaps, I would sell more tickets and in the long run make more money. Well, that makes sense and all. I'm not that bad at math, so I figured, I'd give this a shot. So here's what happened. The reason I limit my classes to 25 people is for 2 reasons. Number one, I've been using GoToMeeting, which is a service that is $49 a month and allows me to have up to 25 people in a call. Now, I do have the ability to have to use GoToWebinar, and I went ahead and signed up for a 90-day free trial for GoToWebinar, which is going to allow me to have at least 100 people, up to 100 people in my webinar. Now, I am going to try this for one time to see how things work out, and I am doing a webinar on how to configure the thesis theme, or how I configure the thesis theme. So if you've ever seen podcastanswerman.com or virtualassistantpodcast.com or gspn.tv, I am going to show you in a 90-minute webinar how you take the default, ugly, plain, generic WordPress theme and turn that into something that looks like virtualassistantpodcast.com or podcastanswerman.com. And I'm only charging $39 per person. So it's 90 minutes of valuable training for $39. I will be recording the video and audio of this, and that video and audio will be released within 1 week of us doing the live event. So again, I'm trying this out, $39. And by the way, 10 people signed up within the first hour. So I do know that there's some interest. The thing is will I be able to, let's just say if this thing was, let's just say if it was $75 or $100, would I make as much money if I would have just did, 25 people at that amount versus 39 at the total number that actually end up showing up. So we'll see how it goes. I'm testing this out. Want to see how, see if it works out in everybody's favor. Anyway, I'm looking at my email here and I'm seeing payments are still coming in. And by the way, here you go. By the way, it's official. There are now only two seats available for the Podcast Answer Man Passive Income Strategy for Podcasters webinar. So there we go. Very cool. I love that live update right there. Oh, by the way, the webinar for the thesis is on Saturday, November 6th, 2010. And if you want to sign up, that is going to be, you'll just need to go over to podcastanswerman.com/thesis training. Or if you go to podcastanswerman.com, there's a webinar button or a little widget on the right-hand side for that webinar as well. I think that's going to do it, my friends. Thank you for tuning in. I know it was a little bit of a different episode today, different vibe, different feel, but hey, it is what it is. I hope that this podcast finds you well and that your content is cranking out. And by the way, more and more webinars are going to be coming in the future. And in fact, if you have a topic for a webinar that you would like me to do, why not send me an email? My email address, by the way, is over on the right-hand side of my site if you need the spelling. But actually, just do cliff@podcastanswerman.com. That's easy enough. cliff@podcastanswerman.com. I usually just use cliff@ravenscraft.org. But cliff@podcastanswerman.com will send it right to the same place. But yeah, lots of webinars coming your way in the near future. And I guess that's it. I'm going to go eat some dinner now. God bless you all. We'll talk to you soon. Oh, wait. Are you still there? Episode 28 of the Virtual Assistant Podcast opens with how my plans for having my post-production work completely failed. And, that I talked about last week. So go check out Virtual Assistant Podcast, episode number 28, and you'll get a story about how that failed. But how still, get this, I'm recording my 7th podcast today. It would normally be my 8th, but Stephanie's not feeling well. She didn't do the full-time mom. This is my 7th podcast today, and the 6 that I recorded before this are already online. And this podcast will be online very shortly. God bless you all. I'm not even going to let the whole music run out here. I'm just going to kind of ramp it out. But God bless you. Until next time, join the community.